Hey, 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 time to shine, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have actually kind of a neighbor of mine about 15 miles to the south of me in Lake Worth, Florida. Um, I'm here in Jupiter, Florida, and it's kind of nice that we could actually have did this in studio, but unfortunately we have to do it over Zoom, which is just fine.
Yeah.
But it's a good friend of mine here, Jaimie Skultety. She has the company Upscale Your Business, and what she does, it's different. A lot of my listeners here are coaches, and the coaches sometimes need to be coached. I know that I do. And what Jaimie's company does is she will help coaches take their business to the next level. So we're always talking about leveling up here. And so this is kind of almost a coach for a coach. And she has a phenomenal business platform. You have to make sure you visit upscaleyourbusiness.com. But Jaimie Skultety is the founder of Upscale Your Business, which helps coaches and consultants with comprehensive, systemized, and results-focused approach to marketing their business. Jaimie's clients have reported more ideal clients to work with in an average of 30% increase in revenue. And that is some serious credentials, people. So Jaimie, welcome to the show. Please come on, introduce yourself. But first, what is your favorite color and why?
Purple. I love
Purple.
purple. Yeah, purple.
Why?
It's calming, it's soothing, and it's pretty.
Purple is royal too. It's
That
regal. You
too.
look at a lot of the royal and regal stuff that they had back. I love Game of Thrones. I'm weird like that, but everything was purple stuff. That's really awesome. So give me the origins of Upscale Your. They actually take it back to
Yeah,
before Upscale Your Business and kind of
yeah.
like, tell us how you got there.
So I started out my company actually well, almost 11 years ago. The last recession that we had, the economy tanked, and I found myself without a job. So what was I going to do? I consulted with a coach. She suggested I become a virtual assistant. That spoke to me. I had spent over 20 years in corporate as an executive assistant,
Oh wow.
and I just loved the idea. And I had a website up within 2 weeks, and I was marketing, and I had to figure out how to market myself. And that's really the origin story here is, I had to figure out clever and creative ways that I could afford free to market myself. So I jumped on like every free webinar I could get my hands on, and I would try one thing and try another thing. And then I would start to share with the clients that I was getting from my virtual assistant business all the strategies that were working for me. And then they would say, oh, could you do that for me? And I started to do it for them. And then they're saying, well, you're not just a task-based virtual assistant. You are actually helping me to increase and improve my business. And so then the idea for Upscale Your Business came along. And I kind of transitioned away from being a virtual assistant. I started actually, on a side note, I started to coach other virtual assistants and getting
Wow.
them.
Okay.
What I found there, though, unfortunately, they're not willing, a lot of them aren't willing or don't have the funds to invest in themselves.
Sure.
So, the coaching space is it's exactly the place I wanted to be, because the clients I was working with as a virtual assistant were coaches. They were referring more coaches to me. And so that became my niche.
Okay.
And so now I consider myself a social media marketing strategist.
Wow.
And
So what were you doing before?
before my virtual assistant
Yeah,
business,
before when you lost your job.
oh, executive. Well, I was an executive assistant for many years directly for CEOs of some companies here locally, and
Okay.
also in other places I've
So you
lived.
had the background already to set
Oh,
up.
I
You just
sure
had to make
did.
it virtually.
And the thing
Okay.
is, I really loved doing what I did. I was administrative. I love that. I'm very organized and what's the word I'm looking for? Just everything is a system. I like systems.
We call it
And,
mise en place in French.
okay.
That was just told to me one day. Mise en place. It's like organization. You have everything kind of laid out and dialed in.
That's exactly it. And so it was just a natural progression for me. But yeah, and then my last job was working with my parents, because I had a child, and he was
Mm-hmm.
a baby, and they said, come work for us, my mom and my stepdad. And I went to work for them for about 5 years. So I got to take my son to work with me, and I had all
Nice.
the perks of that, and I loved it. But again, when the economy, and they had a furniture business.
Okay.
But when the real estate market crashed, as I'm sure you could speak to,
Oh, yeah.
obviously the furniture business did as well.
Okay.
So they happily retired. They're happy, my parents. But I found myself with, okay, now what? And I was so used to having the perks of being able to raise my son and to be able to take time when I needed to, if he was sick or something like that. So to be able to transition my business into a home-based business where I could still raise him and do my work was really the impetus for the whole thing to
So
start.
what was the aha moment that was like, okay, I know I got let go from the executive assistant to go enroll it into a virtual assistant? Did someone tell you about it, or were you seeing other people doing it while you're an executive assistant, say, I'm going to take the reins, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so I had a friend who was in real estate as well, and she suggested, she was a very close friend of mine, and she had called me about 3 years before the housing crash. And she said, I think you should be, she called me at work one day, I think you should be a virtual assistant. I go, well, that's nice. I said, that sounds interesting, but I've got all the perks of working for my parents. I'll probably own their business one day. I appreciate that thought though. And she said, and she was a coach as well. She was in real estate and she coached. You might know her as well. It's a different person than I told you
Okay, no
before.
problem.
But so I like the idea. I tucked it in the back of my mind. And then fast forward 3 years, and I'm consulting with a coach, a life kind of career coach, if you will.
Gotcha.
And she suggested for me, out of some testing that I did with her, you should be a virtual assistant. I said, well, you're the second person to tell me that. So what was once, by the way, I meant to say this, in my corporate life,
Sure.
I always felt like if I was at a party and somebody said, what do you do? I would kind of minimize what I did. I would kind of say, I'm just an executive assistant. I didn't have like a career title. I wasn't like entrepreneur, business owner. I wasn't any of those things. So I kind of minimized I felt minimalized myself. Nobody did that to me.
Sure.
But when I was able to then become an entrepreneur, it was just sort of a step up for me and it felt right. And so the coach and my friend were both right on target and it just really lit me up and inspired me.
Understood.
So I knew that was the direction I needed to go.
So I love that. So your parents see that you worked for them for a little bit, and then you worked for an executive assistant. What was your family's take on you kind of venturing out on your own? Were they supportive? Were they like, go get another job, or what was it? If you don't mind sharing that.
Not at all. No, they were actually quite incredibly supportive and still are. And actually, my stepdad helps me out quite a bit in my business. He does a lot of editing of some of my writing because he used to own a language school. So yeah, no, my mother's always been an entrepreneur and always had her own businesses. So she was very excited and she knew how excited I was by this. So no, my family has been incredibly supportive and supremely proud of the steps that I've taken, and they've seen me build something from nothing, from ashes to a very successful business. I do well for myself.
Absolutely.
It's not always been that way. It was a struggle for a number of years.
So tell us about that. Tell us about a fail that you had, that you failed forward and learned the most from. There's got to be something that sticks out to you. I mean, I was laying on a couch in a short sale that I had listed because I lost my own house and I had listed someone's house, and I was like, literally listed a house and lived in the house while I had it listed. This is back in 2009 when the whole market crashed. So tell us a little bit about a fail as you're getting Upscale Your Business going.
Yeah, so as a virtual assistant, it was really challenging, and I didn't have the money to invest in any coaching or anything like that, or specific VA coaching, I should say. And I do recommend that, and that's why I became a VA coach. I had a lot of VAs coming to me. But what was happening for me is, I was kind of making the typical mistake of charging by the hour. Not a very wise thing to do. I felt very trapped by that. I felt this, I'm going to always have to have new clients every single month in order to make up for any kind of shortfall. Like if clients bought a package of hours, let's say, they would expect that if they didn't use all of them in a month, that they could just have them ongoingly. I'll just bank those and someday
roll them over like cell phone minutes back in the day, right?
Exactly. So I really had a hard time kind of figuring out the whole packaging and pricing kind of thing and that model. And again, just sort of found the puzzle pieces to put together that would actually bring all of my concepts together. And so the marketing really became the thing that I love to do. I always said if I could just get paid to market my business, I'd be really rich because I love that whole thing. And so I developed a whole program, a 7-step system that goes by the Upscale acronym. And each step of that program is right on the front page of my website. Down, right? So it's really taking all of those steps and putting them together so that we're building one thing onto the next. So I can help my clients. basically I help my clients do all the things that I did to get me where I am and
Love
where I
it.
continue to go. Yeah.
So if I'm at a networking event, well, not right now, but because we're in like day 9,250 of our COVID time here. But if I'm at a network event, press and flash, meeting people, and someone's talking to me, and how would I know that they would be what would they say to me to know that they would be a good prospect, contact, or connection for you at Upscale Your Business?
So if they're a coach or consultant, number one. Number two, they've been in business maybe, we kind of term it around 2 to 5 years. They've had, they've kind of tried it by themselves for a while, but they haven't really made the traction they want to make. They want to identify who would be best served by what they have to offer, which I feel is one of those kind of slippery slopes. A lot of coaches and consultants, when I speak to people in a consulting situation where I'm consulting with them, and I ask them, well, who's your target market? I typically get, entrepreneurs or people who, have a pulse or have a credit card, right? And so it's anybody and everybody. And
Yeah.
so one of the first things that we do in my business, and I have a partner who helps me with this, is help provide them some clarity on exactly who they serve, so that
You
they
help
are,
them build an avatar for
yes,
their business. That's the people that are listening out there. That's what I did with you. That's how I found you. Is I built an avatar of people that have a commute to work, that are looking to maybe side hustle a little bit of their life, but also level up and bring on people like yourself to help them level up as well. So you help them build an avatar.
That's exactly right. That's the first place we start is, because we can't really do effective marketing until we get that nailed down.
Okay.
And it's amazing how many people just don't have that or don't even have the knowledge that they should. And you asked me what was one of my ahas, and I'm going to refer back to your question here, which is that I stayed stuck for a long time, more than a couple of years I help entrepreneurs. And when you look on like LinkedIn, and you and I talked about how LinkedIn is such a valid,
Powerful,
place,
yes.
very powerful, best place for marketing. If you put in the search bar entrepreneurs, millions of them come up.
Sure.
And so a lot of people have the thought of, well, that's great, I have millions of people to connect with. It's actually not a great thing. You want to get it down to the smallest audience,
Right,
So,
dig in there.
yeah.
That's how I found you, because I want to bring on people that help people level up. But then I was thinking, well, she helps people that help people level up. It's just fantastic. So let me ask you something. A new coach comes in, or a new entrepreneur or whatnot, and you're starting to work with them. What is your kind of secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing, of how you might help them find their blind spot?
We do that in a very comprehensive and very easy thing. And we offer this as sort of our introduction, if you will. So we offer anybody who's interested, and I'm sure you'll promote this at the end. I won't go too deep into it, but we give them a whole, what I call an inbound marketing assessment. So if somebody expresses interest, we ask them for, their primary platforms. Basically, we can get all of that right off of their website typically. Sure. And we will do a deep dive for anybody who's interested in discussing further. Now they have to, be willing to be in a place where they're willing to invest in their business and kind of take off their marketing hat so that they can stay coaching, right?
Okay.
And consulting. But we always say, if you want to be a marketer, be a marketer. But back to the assessment is we will go and do a deep dive on all their platforms, starting with their website, their LinkedIn, their Twitter, their Facebook, anything else that we find. And we will point out all the mistakes that they're making. That they are probably overlooking, that would probably enhance their business greatly if they fixed those things. And so, our hope is that, they'll go, wow, this is really great. I now have a checklist of all the things I should do.
Right.
But that they'll go, I don't have the time for that. And I don't really want to be doing that. I want to be coaching.
Sure.
So, our hope is that they'll say, okay, I see you pointed out a lot of my blind spots. I need to work with you so that we can.
I love it. And that's part of the comprehensive package start when you start working with them then.
Or no, even
marketing.
It's kind of our intro. It's our intro. They don't, it's not the onboarding process. It's more
Understood.
Find out what we can do for you kind of process.
Beautiful. No, it's a fantastic platform that you have here. And my coaches and even entrepreneurs and even business owners should really, really look into Upscale Your Business. Let's get in our DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the 22, 23-year-old Jaimie. And what kind of knowledge nuggets are you going to drop on her to maybe help her level up? Maybe shorten her learning curve a little bit. What are you saying to her with what you know now?
Business-wise, you're talking? I mean,
Go
there's a
anyway.
lot in personal space there. Let me think. Just, find your confidence. Find something that you love to do. I've been having this discussion with my son. He's 15
Sure.
at this point.
So you're doing it now.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Find something that you absolutely love to do that's almost hobby-ish, if you will. Like
Sure.
it's a hobby that you just love, but that you're well paid for.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
good. I like to ask that because it makes people think, because you've been down the road. You've lost a security. You had to bounce back from it. So you've learned a lot during that time, just like myself, and I'm able to pay it forward with the people that are younger. That's why I mentor a ton, high schools here in the Palm Beaches and stuff. So,
That's great.
so when you're meeting a new prospect, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you? Not a question you ask them. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you?
Probably along the lines of like, what was your biggest mistake, or what was your biggest oversight that you overlooked, right? So that once you recognized it, and the answer, of course, is I struggled with finding a niche, and I even argued the point that I shouldn't have to have a niche. I should be able to just market to the whole world, and I was really stuck there. I didn't really highlight that. I was really stuck there for a long time. I just didn't get it. Why would I need to limit I found that whole conversation of niche and specializing in something to be incredibly limiting. And I thought, why would I turn away business that's not ideal for me?
Right.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Sure.
A ton, because there's a ton of people who help entrepreneurs. So what makes you different? When you have something special.
There's the question right there. What makes you different? Or what have you had happen in your life to fail, and how did you overcome it? Those are the two that I love to hear. So if you take your cell phone, computer, all the technology out of this question, what are 3 things Jaimie cannot live without?
Well, my favorite rock star.
Who's that?
From the 80s, Rick Springfield.
Jesse's girl. Okay.
Concerts, I guess. I mean, music in general, I'll say. I do love to sing as well.
Okay.
What else? You said technology out of it, but books I like to read.
Love it.
Yeah, I like to read a lot about business. I also like to read biographies.
Okay.
Trying to think what else. You said 3 things. My relationships.
Love it. Family and relationships. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are genuine answers. I dig that. So you've accomplished a lot in kind of a really short period of time. Upscale Your Business. You're helping people out. What's the big, capitalized BIG, big thing that Jaimie wants to accomplish in her life?
I'd like my business to kind of run a little bit more automatedly, like a lot of it is, but I mean, I would love to be able to have a little more time to kind of step away from my business and, I have a team, so I love that. I've been able to build a
big
team.
Let's think big. Come on. What do you want to see upscale your business?
Yeah, I want to be the premier place that coaches go to for all of their marketing expertise.
Love it. There you go. Now that's an honest answer. You want to be the go-to. All right, Jaimie, what's the definition of a life well lived?
Being able to more than pay your bills, have a nice, be able to pay your bills comfortably and be able to, take trips and just enjoy your life. So that's one thing. Let's see here. Life well lived. That my child is happy, healthy, and successful, whatever that looks like. And that's not in a monetary way, but just
I understand.
Let's enjoy.
Prosperous, prosperity mind, prosperity everything, and all the pillars of life.
Yeah, and
love
just good
that.
health in general with everybody that I love and everybody in the world, actually.
Yes, I know, especially in this time. So as we kind of slowly wind things down, we go into what's called our level up lightning round.
Okay.
And there's 5 or 6 questions I'm going to ask you. You have like 5 seconds to answer them. You and I could talk for 15, 20 minutes on each one of them.
Okay.
It's nothing that's going to stump you. It's just top of your head. Once you spit it out. You ready?
Okay.
Here we go. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Get a target market.
Love it. Okay. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Personal habits. Mapping out my day first thing in the morning. I don't do it. I don't answer a single email without having my entire day mapped out in an app. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Other than your website, Upscale Your Business, and of course, TimeToShineToday.com. That's my shameless plug. What is another website or internet resource you like to go to level up?
Two of them, Amy Porterfield and Marie Forleo.
Both of them are great.
Yeah.
Okay, not the flavor of the month, not what you're reading now, not some book that everyone talks about. What's the one book that resonates with you that if, like mine is The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. It changed my life. Like, what is that book for you?
Good question. Well, I just read Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure Outable. And I mean, I really resonate
Is that the
with
book
that
you would
book.
hand to somebody if they're in the doldrums?
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
would say so, yeah.
Love it. What's your favorite charity and or organization you like to give your money and or time to?
St. Jude's Children's
There
Hospital.
you go. Love to hear that. And last question. What's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s? She's just like 80s. You got Springfield. I love it. I love it. Jaimie, how can we find you?
www.upscaleyourbusiness.com. And you can email me at Jaimie, which is spelled Jaimie. There's two I's in there, at upscaleyourbusiness.com.
Awesome. And tell us, did you say that there's an inbound marketing assessment or something that we can offer, or is it somewhere?
It is. It's upscaleyourbusiness.com/assets.
Assets? Okay.
Go through your assets. So ASSETS.
All right, folks. That's going to be in the show notes. All of that down there. So, Jaimie, I need you to do one last thing for me. Could you please leave the Time to Shine squad with one parting knowledge nugget that you want them to take with them and internalize to help them level up?
Find your special space. Find who you help, who you are uniquely qualified to serve. Gain the clarity on that, and then everything else will resonate from that. Your marketing, everything you do will speak to that audience.
That's amazing. That find your special space, almost like find your specialty where you're passionate about. Like you said, it's hobbyish, if you will, to where you're going to have fun with what you do every day. And that's what, folks, that's what Jaimie does every day. She doesn't really work. She serves. She's helping people level up their lives. Make sure you check out the show notes with all her contact information and also the inbound marketing assessment that will be in there at upscaleyourbusiness.com/assets, but that'll also be in the show notes as well. And Jaimie seems very humble. She's very hungry and driven. She levels up her health, levels up her wealth. And Jaimie, you're part of our squad now. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Excellent. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.